Hi everyone, welcome back to BeRich. Unfortunately, I was not able to bring Anand to the recording today. As you heard, Anand is there in the background. So I wasn't able to put him on the camera today because he's been busy. And so I thought I'll talk to you guys and get some conversation started about what's been happening in the world of AI, especially with Nvidia and SoftBank. What was the news that happened? The Nvidia stake sale. SoftBank sold 32.1 million shares of Nvidia October for a value of $5.83 billion. This, of course, was a real surprise to investors, both in SoftBank and in Nvidia, because no one expected this. It sold earlier in 2019 a $4 billion stake. This is the second time, and this is a full exit from SoftBank in Nvidia. So, why? It's a rightful question. Was this because even the SoftBank is feeling valuations are too high? Or is there some inside information SoftBank knows and they know it's going to be cracking, so they're exiting? All kinds of speculations going on Twitter, and I understand. But we don't like speculation on this channel, and we don't try and speculate at all. What we try and do is try to find facts and try to understand the facts, and based on that, we try to extrapolate to see what may happen tomorrow or day after. So, as far as the facts are concerned, the proceeds from this sale will help finance SoftBank's massive $22.5 billion in OpenAI, signaling stronger focus in generative AI. So, SoftBank feels that OpenAI is the future and generative AI is the bigger future, and it is time to be focusing its attention into the software of things rather than the hardware of things. Of course, SoftBank does know that Nvidia is the ones which are supplying the chips for companies like OpenAI, which is creating the generative AI. But as things proceed, and the way SoftBank feels is that it's better to be now not sitting in the cart, but actually to climb onto the horse which is pulling the cart. So this is the main reason it's been said. Of course, along with this, they have also trimmed their holdings of T-Mobile because they needed more cash, and they've sold that stake and raised another $9.17 billion. So Yoshimitsu Goto, the CFO, has emphasized new investment opportunities and to financially strengthen them. So you would expect the market to treat this as positive news, but no, they have actually beaten SoftBank by 10%. Nvidia, of course, naturally got beaten too because shares are being flushed. So it got beaten down by a couple of percentage points. But the major surprise was that SoftBank itself was beaten down by 10% because the market doesn't seem to be thinking this is the right move for SoftBank. Probably, because I'm speculating here. It's very hard to discern what the market is really feeling because right now the market is stretched beyond belief and it's extremely volatile. Any kind of news, the market could be reading in any direction and moving it. But this AI and hardware focus of SoftBank is worth looking into. And right now, their strategy seems to be centering around OpenAI and Arm Holding. Arm Holding is, of course, the British chip manufacturing company, and they design chips, and SoftBank is having a major stake in that. So they have let go of Nvidia, but they still do have a hardware arm to this. So the bottom line is SoftBank seems to be shifting its focus from Nvidia holdings and deeper into AI bets, especially OpenAI, while leveraging the ARM stake to stay anchored in hardware side of the AI boom. Now, a lot of questions being asked about, is there a bubble in AI? It smells like one, sure does feel like one. So what should we do? That is a valid question to have. My answer to this is to stay invested. When I say stay invested, I don't mean go and start buying AI company or AI company shares. What I'm saying is invest in the broader market. Anyone who has been around for a long period of time, like my brother, or even as Warren Buffett, going further back, would attest to being invested in the market. There is no other way but to ride the wave. Yes, sometimes the waves go up, sometimes the waves go down, sometimes they crash, but the water always recedes, and the fresh momentum and a fresh wave picks up, and it comes all over again. This is economic cycle. It keeps going through. As long as human beings are there, stock markets will be there, and there will be rises and falls. So the best way to ride this is to keep invested. Now the question begs, like, how do you stay invested, Vinod? Maybe the question you want to ask. Well, the way to stay invested in this kind of a market is investing in the broader market, like I said, and that is to be in the S&P 500. Yes, it is valid that 36 to 37% of the S&P 500 is being held up by a couple of companies, the Magnificent Seven especially. So you may feel it's lopsided, but we don't have a choice. If the AI momentum, we are in the beginning of a bubble, and this is going to go on building for another, let's say, 10 years on a very optimistic side, then being invested in the S&P 500, you're going to be having a huge exposure to AI, and you will continue growing with that AI. Makes sense? Let's say we are wrong, and in a year's time, the whole thing comes tumbling down. Well, of course, the S&P 500 will also correct, but from that point onwards, if you keep on investing in S&P 500, continue doing it, the weightage of the Magnificent Seven will shrink in the S&P 500, and we will keep moving forward with the rest of it. So if you look at it, the best way to deal with this kind of a bubble situation with so much of uncertainty and when it's out of your circle of competence is to keep investing a little by little, keep dipping into the market, the broader market, the S&P 500, little by little, and keep moving along, because we don't have an option. You can't sit out and wait out for this. One thing we do not have is time. Our runway keeps shrinking every day, every moment. Our life seems to be slipping away. So we don't have an option but to keep invested. Now, the other question a lot of you have been asking me is the AI bubble the same as the internet bubble? I don't think the AI bubble is the same as the internet bubble, because these companies which are providing AI services, there is, some kind of a roadmap to revenue. The question which a lot of analysts are saying is not questioning of the revenue. The revenue is there in AI. The question is, does the amount of revenue being projected actually justify the price? So is it worth paying the price which they're demanding today, saying that they're going to be earning X or Y amount tomorrow? Because the power of AI is evident, and the power of suggestion and human psychology is also evident. So both of them coupling and them influencing us as consumers in a never-ending chain of ads where we don't even know we're being influenced, that is for sure going to happen. But amount of money that can be made out of this, all of this, and the subscription model based on this, that is a big question. And there lies a problem with AI. So I would say stay invested, keep reading the news, keep paying attention. I would not venture into individual companies right now, because unless you know what you're doing and you have inside knowledge about the industry, I would stay clear out of looking at individual companies, even if you see corrections of 10%, 12%, because it is a lot of volatility which is out there right now. So this is the news about SoftBank and Nvidia. Let me know what you thought and put it down in the comments, and I will definitely try and get Anand in tomorrow or day after to have a further discussion about OpenAI, Nvidia, SoftBank, and a whole lot, and see what we can come to understand further from all this. I hope you enjoyed the video yesterday about Diageo. Yes, I did read some of the comments which I got, and I do agree with most of them. And there's nothing wrong in having a different view than mine. I do welcome those views. As long as we all stay respectful, I don't think there should be a problem anywhere. Thanks for being with me on BeRich. Catch you guys tomorrow with another one, hopefully with Anand. Thank you.